Boelter Jones, Pro Football Hall of Famer, top 100.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf from
Hey Burleson, you're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this awesome Blue Friday, and I'm excited. It's a little bit funny because I was getting ready to go on doing this collab with this guy who calls himself the Cabo Cowboy, and it was 4 o'clock because in my mind it was 4 o'clock that we were doing the show, and like he didn't show up, and it's like 4 o'clock. Where is this guy? Did he chicken out? Did he get cold feet? I mean, what's up? 4:15. I sent a message. Hey, man, if I don't hear from you in 5 minutes, I'm going to have to change directions here because I can't wait around forever. I got things to do, right? So then I did another stream, and then in the middle of that, he goes, hey, I thought we were doing it at 7 o'clock Central. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I thought it was 7 o'clock Eastern time. So we just didn't have our clocks in sync. So we are doing this, and we're doing this right now. So I'm excited, man. But before I get into that, I just want to remind everybody, please do me a favor and do my guest a favor when I show your stuff in the description. Hit that like button, the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It's a huge help to us YouTubers out here. So without further ado, here he is. Finally in the flesh. He calls himself J Tuck. He's on Twitter. He's the Cabo Cowboy, but he goes by J Tuck. J Tuck, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate for having me. Like you said, we didn't synchronize our watches, man, but we made it happen. So I'm happy to be here. What's up, Cowboys Nation? What's up, 12 Nation? I'm excited that we're having football.
Yeah. And you know, it's always exciting. We don't play the Cowboys that often. But I got to admit, outside of the Patriots, I think the Cowboys is one of those other teams I just love to hate. You're up there with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 49ers. I can name a bunch, but the Cowboys are up there. But we don't even play you guys that often. So as soon as I saw that you guys were on the schedule, I was like, oh, man, Cowboys. But you guys are coming here. The last time we played you guys, I think we lost to you in the playoffs. Was it 2 years ago was the last time we played you guys, and it didn't work out so well for us. So we need a little revenge here, but we'll get into all that. But so before we jump into it, tell everybody, because you're new to the show, tell a little bit everybody about your channel. How long have you been a Cowboys fan? You know, where do they find you?
Okay, yeah, man. So you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Cowboys Fans Only. That's Cowboys Fans Only with the S. Great channel, man. We just talk Cowboys content, like bringing on fans, just having a kickback, relaxed conversation, talking Cowboys football. And though it's titled Cowboys Fans Only, we do welcome all NFL fans. So feel free. We have a lot of Eagles fans who like to chime in from time to time. And then you can also find me on Twitter. My Twitter is @JTuck151. Go ahead, give me a follow. I talk football, I talk sports, I talk video games. I just love having a good time with good people. And also you can check out our official website to get your Cowboys merchandise, which is cowboysfansonly.com. And so, Norb, you asked the question, how long have I been a Cowboys fan? I've been a Cowboys fan pretty much all my life. I currently live in Kansas City, so we'll talk about that here soon. But I grew up in Austin, Texas. And so when I was young, the Dallas Cowboys, they used to have their training camp at the University of Texas. So we used to go down there, watch them train, get ready for the season. I actually have like baby photos of myself as a kid with Troy Aikman, man. So Cowboys football is all I've ever known. Through the good, the bad, the ugly, I am still here. I'm still standing. But like myself and a lot of Cowboys fans, we're excited about this season and the trajectory that we're headed, and especially going into the game this Sunday.
All right, so Kansas. So you grew up in Texas, which explains why you root for the Cowboys. But so what put you in the middle of Kansas City of all places? How'd you end up there?
When you graduate from college, you need a job and you find the opportunity. So I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, actually, which is about 2 hours from Kansas City. And so I kind of just migrated after college and then found a job in Kansas City, and here I am. But the question I want to ask you, I've been to Arrowhead numerous times, and I was actually there when they broke the record. But who is the loudest stadium in the NFL?
Okay,
that was a huge beef between you guys.
Okay, finally, I have a witness who was in the building. Okay.
I was there.
All right, so here's my thing. It's funny, we're talking about the Chiefs sound record, and we're supposed to be Cowboys.
Chiefs in the chat, but we'll go
because there's a guy named KC, the Kansas City sports nerd. He appears on my channel, but he's a big KC guy. Anyway, so I'm going to say it right here. Seattle is still should be the loudest fans holding the world record. I know Kansas City officially holds it, but when we broke the record, we didn't even know it was happening. It was in the middle of the game. It was a natural moment. We got loud, and we found out later that, hey, we broke the record. How cool is that? Right. Now, when Kansas City came along, when they suddenly saw Seattle had the record, KC decided we need to break that record. So I wasn't there, but you were. So I got to ask you, did they, in fact, coordinate the crowd to get loud at a certain moment with controlled directions to the crowd to get loud at a certain moment? Is this true?
And I apologize to all my Chiefs friends who are watching this channel right now.
Hey, this is facts, man.
Absolutely, yes. There was multiple attempts. It was
multiple attempts.
It was like, okay,
my goodness.
All right, guys, here we go. We're going to try to break the record. They tried, didn't reach it. Tried, didn't reach it. Tried, didn't reach it. And it was pretty much the last attempt. I say probably like 2 minutes left in the game where Chiefs fans gave it all that they had, and they finally reached the record. It wasn't just like a miraculous touchdown and it erupted. It was like, all right, let's go break the record, and they kept trying. And yeah.
See, that is BS, man. if you're going to have the record in the Guinness Book, you got to do it in a way where at least the approach is standardized. Because I'm telling you, man, if we got someone on the PA system, okay, 12s, we're all going to break the record right here in 3, 2, 1, get loud. We would have smashed that thing. But we didn't. We did it in the middle of the game. Didn't even know. We knew that it was happening that night, but we didn't know when. They were just sort of talking about it throughout. And at the end of the game, we found out we broke the record. We didn't even care at the time because we were just so focused on the game. And all of a sudden we found out, I was like, what? We broke the record? Hey, cool. Yeah. So,
right.
Man,
if my memory serves me right, I think they lost that game as well. I think that was against Denver. I think that was the Jamal Charles.
The Chiefs lost that game.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs lost that game.
That would explain why it wasn't very loud in there, right? Exactly. Man, somebody needs to put that out there and explain that situation. Put an asterisk by the Kansas City Chiefs as the loudest stadium. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the Chiefs. We're here to talk about the Cowboys and the Seahawks. So, boy, where to start on this? So we got your background. Now I see why you're in KC and all that. I guess I got to start out first by just asking you about the game last week, man. You guys should be 0-2 right now. That game was... It's the Falcons, man. The Falcons just have this way of barfing on over themselves and giving games back to people who shouldn't have won them. But you guys did. I give you credit because you got to still make the plays, even if they open the door. They opened the door for you, but you still have to walk through it. You guys walked through it. So tell me your reaction as you were watching that game, because I know it was ugly in the first half. Tell me how you went through your emotions and the disbelief that had to have gone through your own head when you watched the end result of that game. Got to be honest with me. What was the emotions like for you?
Well, Norb, you said we should be 0-2, but we could be possibly 2-0 if we would have took the field goal in the first game. We'll not go there. But yeah, Sunday's game was a roller coaster of emotions. If you go back and check my tweets, I was actually the only Cowboys fan pretty much on the planet that was staying positive. And the reason why I was staying positive, because even though we were fumbling like we had grease on our hands, we kept the game still within distance. The Falcons were able to turn a lot of those turnovers into touchdowns. They started selling for field goals. So I started saying, we're only down by 20 points, and there's like 5 minutes left still in the first quarter. So there's plenty of time left in this ball game. If the offensive line can just protect Dak Prescott, we can carve up this defense. We've seen it happen when you guys did the previous week. So I was very confident if we were just able just to gather ourselves, we could strike back. And we started striking back, slowly gaining my momentum. Now, I will say this, Julio Jones, he didn't do a favor for my fantasy team, but he did a huge favor to my Cowboys by dropping that wide open touchdown pass, because I think that would have been the backbreaker. Mm-hmm. But, luckily for us, it didn't happen. And then kind of going through the fake punt situation, there was lots of hat throws and screaming in my living room, I'm going to be honest with you. And when we decided to go for 2 after the first touchdown, and we didn't get it when we did a sweep to Zeke, that's when I kind of lost it. And so I kind of sit back in my chair like, all right, we lost. That was a stupid play. But defense was able to get a stop. And then when Dak Prescott made that strike to Gallup, and then he was qualified as being in, I was like, okay, well, maybe we're still in this. And then we were able to get the touchdown. The onside kick, I still to this day, and we talked about this last night on my channel, I don't know what Atlanta was thinking, but thank goodness they were thinking that, because 5 people around the ball, we all play football, we all know the game of football, just dive on the ball. for some reason they were hypnotized and decided to watch it spin like a little dreidel.
You know what's so weird? What's so weird about that is they've got one of the best onside kick kickers in the league. With what's his name, Young Koo? He's got
Young Koo.
Young Koo had like 3 in a game last year. So I'm thinking when they practice, you'd think that they must see this all the time, like really good onside kicks, and to watch them watch this ball roll like it was a punt, like they're just waiting for the thing to just stop or something. But it blew my mind. It's like, what are you guys thinking? But
because the kick was so short, it was at the 5 yard, like just get it. I was like, okay, they're gonna get it.
Yeah, they forgot that they can get it. It's just the kicking team that can't touch it, but they can touch it anytime.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So once we got the onside kick, I perked up in my chair and I was like, are we going to win this game? And then Dak threw the strike to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb does what he does best, and Greg the Leg stepped up and made that kick. And if you go to my channel, you'll definitely see my fan reaction because I was through the roof. I like I said, I still can't believe how he won that game. That's definitely going to be a football game that'll go in the record books for the ages. I think it's like the record is like 414-0 when a team scores 39 points and has 0 turnovers. So that'll tell you a lot about the Falcons.
Well, it's funny because the Falcons, we all know about Super Bowl 51 and the 28-3, and now there's this game where they were up 20-0 at one point. They were up 20-0, and then it just it kept kind of going like this, and then eventually you guys caught up. But even the Seahawks, when we played back in 2012, Russell Wilson's rookie year, we went into Atlanta in that divisional game, and we were down by the same exact score, 20-0. And we ended up taking the lead with like 90 seconds left, thinking we're going to go to the championship game. And of course, we let Matt Ryan throw a couple big bombs down the field, and then they kicked the game winner, and it kind of ended like that. But so I don't know about the Falcons, man. The Falcons just have a way of just not being able to hold on to leads, which is crazy. So anyway, unfortunately for you, you guys got to be the beneficiary of it. So
exactly.
So let's talk a little bit now, moving forward for this matchup. I guess I do want to back up because there's a question I've been wanting to get directly from a Cowboys fan. Is what's the deal with Dak Prescott and the relationship with the team? I just thought they were going to sign him to a long-term deal. Is it him just he's going the Kirk Cousins route and just wants that mega money that they just don't want to pay him? Or do they not believe in him? But why did they not work out a deal with Prescott in the offseason? And do you think that to me, that marked the end, that he's not going to be here long-term? Or do you think differently on this?
Originally, I would agree, but to answer your question, I think it's a little bit the Dallas Cowboys organization. They do believe in Dak Prescott, but I think Dak's agent Todd Fanz was pushing the envelope. I think they've come to terms on numerous occasions. There's always the reports that last year they had a deal already in place, but then Dak got off to a great start with those first 3 games, and the price went up, and he went back to Jerry and wanted to restructure the contract. So I think it's just both sides are being hard-headed when it comes to this contract negotiation, and no one wants to meet each other as far as the middle ground is concerned. Originally, this offseason, after everything happened, I did like a 8-hour stream that night. But I was saying Dak Prescott, this was the end of him being the quarterback in Dallas. But I see right now the Dallas Cowboys are starting to restructure a lot of deals with DeMarcus Lawrence and Tyron Smith and those type of guys. So I think they're trying to get ready for next year to find a way to sign Dak Prescott, especially after the way he played Sunday night. The price is just continuing to climb for this guy. So it's going to come to a point where it's like you need to get a deal, get him long-term, because I believe, and a lot of Cowboys fans believe, there's some haters out there, don't pay them no attention. Dak Prescott is the future quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He's our leader, and we rally around him, and we clearly saw that Sunday. So I don't know what the issue is with finally getting this deal done. I just think the agent, Todd Fanz, is pushing his leverage with Jerry Jones and the organization, and we know owners, they don't like that. And so we'll definitely see. But I would have to say now, I would expect Dak Prescott to be signed next summer after what he's done, what he's shown, and Mike McCarthy finally getting to play and coach with Dak Prescott and say, okay, this is my guy. And I think that was kind of where they're kind of drawing the lines. Like, okay, let's see if Mike McCarthy even likes Dak Prescott. Maybe he was a Jason Garrett guy, but I feel like Mike McCarthy is now banging on the table for Dak Prescott. So he's going to get that deal done for Dak for next summer.
All right. Confidence from a Cowboys fan that they'll get it done. Ingraven Vids is in the chat. One of my favorite Ravens fans, one of my favorite YouTubers out there. He said, Norv, you making coffee? I was drinking my water bottle in the background. Must have sounded pretty loud, like a coffee maker being done out there. Just staying hydrated. You got to do that thing.
Right. Got to stay hydrated.
You got to stay hydrated, especially after talking at one stream and then getting ready for another one here. It's just, it's a tough job.
Warm up. The 12 was hype in the last stream. I was in there a little bit in the chat. I saw those comments.
Oh, man.
Cowboys trash, Zeke trash.
Oh, they were all like, oh, yeah, that's like the Cowboys. They're not going to show up, Well, we'll see. Well, so let's talk about this game because we know that game, the Cowboys are going to show up on that game, and it's going to be a good one. The NFL, the game of the week on Fox. It's definitely one I've had circled on my calendar, and it makes me nervous for sure. Tell me, what is how do I want to put this? I guess, what do Seahawks fans like myself need to be concerned about? We already know about Zeke Elliott. We know about the feed me tattoo on his stomach, all that. We know about Dak Prescott. So we've seen that. We've seen it before. We kind of know what that's all about. But what is really the thing that should scare Seahawks fans that maybe we don't know about?
Yeah, the one thing I think should scare a lot of Seahawks fans is that we saw what CeeDee Lamb was able to do last week. We saw what Amari Cooper and also Michael Gallup was able to do. In the past 2 weeks, those three receivers have yet to score touchdowns. So they're about due to score. And so I feel like from a Cowboys point of view, I think a big game as far as the passing game is concerned for the wide receiver core in Dallas. So I think that's where we're going to really test you guys is in the passing game, especially with your secondary being kind of limited, because I think a lot of people, when we think Seattle football, we think Legion of Boom. That's gone. I know you guys got Jamal Adams, which we wanted Jamal Adams. But I feel like right now your secondary is a weak point that the Cowboys are definitely going to try to take advantage of. Of course, you always have to be aware of Zeke and then also Tony Pollard. I feel like they're going to try to get the run game off the ground. But I feel like Mike McCarthy this year, he's going to come out, and he said this in numerous reports, he's going to come out ready to strike. He's not going to try to play the old Jason Garrett model of just run the ball and hope the clock runs down. We're going to come out fighting, guns blazing, and may the best team win.
It's funny, that approach sounds kind of familiar, actually, until this year. And that's where the whole let Russ cook thing is kicked off. It sounds like Mike McCarthy wants to let Dak cook. It's not what they want to try to do. So similar things. I see this as a game with a lot of high scoring in it. We got two great quarterbacks, two good running backs, a lot of weapons on both sides as far as the receivers are concerned. The defense, you mentioned it. We've got definitely some holes on the D. Last week, I think it's a little bit of a maybe slightly skewed view because we lost Quandre Diggs because of the helmet-to-helmet ejection call on him early in the game. That changed the entire backfield of the Seahawks secondary, and I think was a big reason why Cam had such a big day throwing the ball without Quandre Diggs in there. So we will have him back, which is a much comfort to me. But tell me a little bit about your guys' defense. You guys have some names on that defensive line, and yet you guys only have 2 sacks to show for it. Where's that D line at? When are they going to show up? They're going to suddenly decide that we're going to show up for week 3, but we were going to take the first 2 weeks off. You guys have less sacks than us, and I think our defensive line is terrible. So what's happening? Why have you guys not had better pressure on the quarterback?
Yeah, coming into the season, that was one of the strengths we all spoke about. We thought was going to be our defensive line. Now, of course, you probably don't pay attention to what goes on with Cowboys Twitter, but there's a huge explosion between one of the radio guys, Jeff Kavanaugh, and Everson Griffin. So I think what's going to change this week is you're going to see Everson Griffin and also DeMarcus Lawrence finally put their hand back in the ground and go back to the 3-point stance. For the last 2 weeks, we've been experimenting more of a 3-4 look, putting DeMarcus Lawrence in coverage and all these different experiments. I think this week we get back to just regular football, put those guys' hands in the dirt and let them come towards Russ, because as I said last night on my show, containing Russ is the most important factor as far as the defensive scheme is concerned, making sure we keep him inside the pocket, because once Mr. Unlimited kind of gets on the roll, man, it can get ugly quick. So I think the guys are going to put their hand back in the dirt, and you'll see a lot more. They talked about simplifying the defensive scheme with Mike Nolan not being overcomplicated, letting Jalen Smith kind of use his talent. So I think we'll see more of a pass rush. The thing is, now we got one of the best quarterbacks in football that we're trying to apply that to. So we shall see.
Containing Russell Wilson, that is that's like the unicorn.
Easier said than done.
Very much easier said than done. Very difficult to defend, obviously. But so you talked about the D-line, but now the thing that's probably making all the 12s watering in their mouth right now, in the sense is that I know you guys have some injuries in your secondary and at linebacker. So talk about that. Talk about what you've lost and what does that mean in terms of Russell Wilson, the throwing leader in the NFL right now. Tell how bad are those injuries?
Yeah, from a linebacker perspective, I mean, we're pretty much accustomed now to losing Sean Lee. But losing Leighton Vander Esch week 1, I think that was a huge blow to our defense. We had high hopes of him coming back from his neck injury last year. He said he was 100%. First game, collarbone, he's out for probably 6 to 8 weeks. And so we're relying on Jalen Smith to do a bulk of the carrying as far as the middle linebacker and also outside linebacker is concerned. Joe Thomas played solid last week, but he's one of those kind of rotational guys. But I think if he can get his rotation in, get his wind under him, he can definitely have some impact. Secondary, we were coming in limited to begin with. We just lost Chido Awuzie, so he's going to be out. There's been reports about Diggs having the shoulder injury, but I think he did practice today, so I think he'll be a go. But now with Chido out, it's really going to come down to who's going to be that other corner. There's talks about maybe it being Darryl Worley. I doubt they bring in the new rookie Reggie Robinson this quick, so it might be Darryl Worley, and then have Jordan Lewis play in that slot corner position. And we know your guys' wide receiving core is just as deadly as ours. And so that's going to be a huge question mark because you guys got that Edelman and Metcalf who's going to be physical. And so one of our guys who's really not accustomed to being that starting lead dog, they're going to have to be ready to play Sunday. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, and I think we've got guys on our line.
And then you guys stole our safety, so we don't have any safety pretty much back there.
Well, and we've got a lot of question marks. Like I said, the D-line is yet to really rise up and kind of show that they're up to the challenge right now. And so, I'm big questions about, for me, I in my video before this, I said 3 keys to the game was stopping Zeke, putting Zeke on a diet. Since he wants to be fed, we got to put him on a diet, right? Russ has got to keep cooking. And I think in the end, like I said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And the thing that'll make the difference will be the turnovers. Because I just don't see. I don't see either of our defenses starting. You guys had 3 or 4 turnovers in that game against Atlanta?
4.
It was 4
in the first quarter.
That's crazy. You can't win a game after 4 turnovers and having a lead of 20 points. This blows my mind. But so what? I'm concerned. You said you did a video about your keys to stopping us. What were your 3 or whatever the number of keys you had to stopping besides containing Russell Wilson? Good luck with that.
Yeah, containing Russell Wilson, that was my first one. Limiting the big plays. Russell likes to strike downfield. We saw that last week against New England, the big plays to Metcalf and those guys. The third one, and Jamal Adams actually said this, that he's hearing rumors around Dallas, and it might have came from me. I'm not sure if it was me, but keep Jamal Adams in coverage. I believe if we keep him backing up in coverage versus him coming towards Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, make him actually work, I think that will kind of slow him down and give him some balance. Because if he has to cover either Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, I'm fully confident in one of those two taking that matchup with Adams. And then the fourth one, I'm not sure if you watch Cobra Kai, but it's really
I love first. Cobra Kai.
Yeah, strike first, strike hard, and no mercy. That's it. We have to come out, strike first out the gate. Show no mercy and continue to strike hard, man, because your guys' offense is loaded and you can strike at any time. So we can't play fearful of you guys. We really have to just roll up our sleeves and have a slugfest, which I think Mike McCarthy is starting to transcend that mindset through this new Cowboys regime. So I think we're going to come out and roll them up, and what happens. So what we shall see. So
I'm curious. I had my opinions of that game after watching, the Cowboys and Falcons. I'm sure you probably caught some of the Seahawks-Patriots game last week. It was a great game. I was curious because you're obviously scouting your opponent of the following week, watching that game. What did you take away from that game? Maybe before you saw the Seahawks play that game and afterwards, did it change anything? Like, okay, so I think we can do this, or maybe they're not so good at that, or they're really good at this. Just curious, what changed, if anything, in your mind after watching the Seahawks against the Patriots and eke out that win?
Yeah, like I said, I think seeing Jamal Adams in coverage, trying to cover Julian Edelman, he got beat a couple of times deep. And so I think that big play opportunity will be there. Also, I think for us as a key is we have to keep Carson and Hyde contained as well. Because if you guys are able to get the run game established, and we actually been struggling with the run game, Don Terry Poe hasn't really been what we thought he was going to be. And of course, we lost, some of our interior linemen due to injury. Tristan Hill's been playing solid, but if Hyde and Carson are able to get the ball running, that will allow Russell to start using the play action. That will allow DK Metcalf to get over the top of our safety. It could be just a bad day. And so really controlling the line of scrimmage is going to be critical for us winning the game. This game will be won in the trenches, I believe, on both sides. The offensive line, defensive line matchups, that will be critical to both teams' success. And I think that's one of our key takeaways is making sure that we're controlling that line of scrimmage, getting that pass rush, stopping the run, and keeping Hyde and those guys, not getting them rolling. So
sounds a lot like what we want to do.
Yeah,
it's a mirror image of each other.
Yeah. When I broke down the film of both teams, I'm like, it's really just a mirror. I mean, granted, you guys get the slight bump, I will say, with Russell Wilson over
slight bump.
Prescott.
Okay,
slight bump. I mean slight bump, but I would take a slight bump. No, it's not that drastic.
Okay, all right.
It's not that drastic. I mean, but I think the reason why is because I like our wide receiving core over your guys, and I like our running back over your guys. So I feel like from the offensive weapon standpoint, we kind of have a little bit of a lead. But I feel like your guys' strongest points that you still have Bobby Wagner out there, you still have Jamal Adams out there. Like those guys are playmakers, and so they can be the difference maker in a close ball game. If it's tied up, strip fumble from Jamal Adams or Wagner or interception, it can definitely change the game. I really don't know at this point who is a Dallas Cowboys playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. No one's really stepped up as of yet. So,
yeah. So Ingraven, I mentioned before, is in the chat. Appreciate you watching, bro. And he, for the record, he says, I think the Seahawks take it. So I've got the Ingraven nod, sign of approval right there. So I'll take that one. I'm going to try something here, which is a little different. I've never taken this angle, but I want you to try pretending you are a Cowboys hater and tell me why your team is not good. Basically, do the flip side of how you would normally talk about how great your team is. Talk about why your team is going to lose this game. What would happen? What would have to happen? What is the weaknesses that are to be exploited and why the Cowboys are going to lose? And I'll do the same thing on my end.
Well, I get a lot of tweets from Cowboys haters, so this should be easy. So, oh my God, Dak Prescott isn't that good. He's just a game manager. What else? Our defense really isn't that good. DeMarcus Lawrence is overpaid. You shouldn't have paid him.
That's true.
Smith really isn't that good. Even though he leads the team in tackles, he's trash. Mike McCarthy was carried his whole career by Aaron Rodgers. He's really not that good of a coach. What else? Oh, Zeke is not a top 10 running back. CeeDee Lamb was a horrible draft pick. You guys should have went defense. I could go all day with that. But that's what typically people say. They want to take Dak Prescott and say he's not top 10 or whatever. I strongly disagree with that. I think Zeke is top 2 running backs. If you want to throw in Saquon Barkley, feel free, or Christian McCaffrey, feel free. But Zeke is still a dangerous running back. And I trust Mike McCarthy. The one thing that scares me, though, in a lot of Cowboys fans, and we've seen this the last 2 games, decision-making with this coaching staff at the wrong moments. And so we don't know. It might be a tie ball game, and all of a sudden you guys are thinking, why did Dallas just fake that punt? We're sitting there like, well, those are the type of things that we have to get accustomed to as Dallas Cowboys fans. Because like I said, going back to that Rams game, we were well within the field goal distance to tie the ball game and decided to go for it. And it's just like, why? Like, why not just tie the ball game? You're on the road, first game of the season, tie the ball game, 2020. You're playing Jared Goff. You're not playing Pat Mahomes or Russell Wilson. But this new aggressive coaching style, I feel like if there's not any execution on that end, it could be costly in a game that's close, like what possibly Sunday matchup could be. So, well,
and we have some history, obviously, with Mike McCarthy in the past. Most on the top of that is our experience in the NFC Championship with the Packers when he was with them back in 2014. Right. I just watched that game replay. I hadn't watched that whole game in a while. I decided I want to make myself feel good, so I watched that championship game. And man, it still blows my mind how the Packers really should have just walked away with that game, but because of the conservative play calling, because they didn't do the Cobra Kai style of attack and no mercy. They showed mercy and kept us in the game, allowed us to have that miracle comeback. Not that different from the one you guys just had last week. So I have seen and know that Mike McCarthy has at times made some questionable decisions that often come back to bite him. But all right, well, I appreciate you kind of looking at the flip side of that. So if I were to put on the hat, the sort of take on why the Seahawks are no good and they're going to lose this game, I would have to start with what everybody's talking about is we have no defensive line. We have no pass rush. Injuries have already thinned out a defense that was already thin on personnel outside of Jamal Adams. Who else do we got? Well, we have Bobby Wagner, who's aging, KJ Wright, who's aging, Quandre Diggs. Is he really that good? Shaquille Griffin. We have Quentin Dunbar, who came over from the Washington football team, who has a pick, but has shown that he's been letting guys get open in coverage. So the defense is really questionable, and that it's really Russell Wilson has been the last couple of years carrying this team the entire way. And if not for Russell having an MVP type performance in the first two games, it's possible we're 0-2 in these first two games. The offensive line, yet to be determined if they are solid enough to get the job done against a team with a strong front seven like what you guys have. And so will we be able to run it? The Patriots, we had a pretty balanced offense where Russell obviously threw the ball for 5 touchdowns, a bunch of yards, but we also ran the ball for 150 yards. So it was balanced last week, putting some doubt maybe to those who are to say that the offensive line is trash. I think that was pretty much the cliche all year. Oh, your offensive line is trash. It's trash. It's trash. It's trash. It's trash. Exactly. But maybe they're not as trash as they may think that it is. But I would say that's kind of what everybody pokes at. I think now, if there was any question about the receiving core and DK Metcalf, I think that's been silenced because he's come out scoring a touchdown against the reigning defensive player of the year, and looking pretty darn good in the first two games. So that would probably be the things that come out in terms of what Seahawks fans are most worried about, or what we hear the most about what's wrong with our team. The big question is, can Russell keep this up? Can he keep this breakneck pace of 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns? Is this the new norm for him, or is he going to have a sort of back to earth type of game where he only throws 3 touchdowns instead of 4 or 5. But
you mentioned your D line a lot, but I think also from our standpoint is that our offensive line is nicked up. Not sure if Tyron Smith is going to play our starting left tackle. So Brandon Knight was able to step in last week and play well, but we also had Terrence Steele, who's a first-time starter, drafted free agent, playing right tackle, and he was the guy that was giving up a lot of those sacks and forced fumbles and different things like that. So, it really comes down to health. I hope Tyron Smith's able to go, but if not, I think that right tackle position is kind of limited. So even if your defensive line is a little bit mediocre due to injuries, I think you guys can still apply pressure. So it really just comes down to scheming, and like I said, winning the game in the trenches, which is going to come down to.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. I look forward to every game, but this one in particular, I think is, like I said, I think we're really very similar in the way that we're constructed, in the personnel, and where our talent is. We have a lot of the same guys, and we both have injuries at tough spots that are going to make it challenging, I think, for the defense to slow down each other's offense. And like I said, I think it's going to come down to touchdowns. So at a certain point, before the show's over, I got to get your score prediction. I don't want to do that now yet. We got to stretch that out and dangle the carrot for the end of the show. I do want to talk about. Are
we going to sing it though? I know you do. I know you do.
I know. I saw you say something about a little sing off. I was like, this guy.
That little sing off.
We got a little singer. Do you sing, man? No, you don't. I was going to say, man, you better bring it. You can bring it.
When I sing on my live, man, they're like, Tuck, stop, mute, stop.
I thought we were going to have some fun with that. I want to talk about, we've had some pretty memorable games over the years. You've been a fan for a long time. I've been a fan for a long time. And, one of the games that stands out, it's just funny with Tony Romo, he never quite got to point. One of those sad stories of a quarterback who was great, had a great team, but never could get to that pinnacle. But one of the games that stands out, was that his rookie year that he had the fumble in the wild card game here in Seattle.
It was hexed ever since. That was it.
Jinx. It was like he was cursed after that point. I assume you watched that game.
Yeah, I watched that game and still don't understand what happened, but just the fumble, man. Why was he holding the extra point? I don't know, but I feel like that was the hex. That's why Tony Romo can never get over that hump, because ever since then, he just felt like something bad was going to happen for Tony, and unfortunately, that was his career. But yeah. One
of the craziest games I've ever witnessed, but it's funny when you look at that ball, you ask why. That ball looked really slippery. It looked super shiny. You know what I mean? Yeah. And most balls are kind of broken in. They kind of got the wear on it and stuff. This ball looked like it was fresh out of the package. It was glistening and shiny. I mean, it looked like a wet pig, man. It was not that surprising that he slipped through his fingers, because it looked like it was fresh out of the package, all shiny and slick.
You got to bring out the Tom Brady needle, man.
You got to suck a little bit of the air out of that thing. But it wouldn't be the first time that we've won a game by what looked like a sure thing at the end. There's that game. There was the Blair Wallace game in the wild card, in the ice game in Minnesota against the Vikings, when Blair Wallace missed I don't think he'd get any closer than he was at. I think that was as close as you can get, and he somehow found a way to miss it to the left. And then, to be honest, that game against the Patriots, once they got to the 1 yard line, I thought it was over. I thought we were going to lose. I mean, if somebody were to put a gun to my head and said, "Norb, how much are you going to bet the Seahawks are going to win or lose?" I would probably slid my money to the Patriots at that point, just because it looked like he was going to be unstoppable. And thank goodness that they did stop him. But were you surprised when at that ending? Who did you have winning that game once they got to the 1 yard line?
I had you guys win the game. I thought you guys were going to give Marshawn Lynch the ball.
No. I'm talking about Sunday.
The one you got.
I'm talking about losing to Cam Newton. Don't bring up that memory. Don't bring that up.
My bad. Oh, yeah. 1 yard line. I heard it. Okay.
We've had a lot of 1 yard line games against them. No, when Cam Newton, with 2-3 seconds left, one play to go.
I felt like, because they got you guys with the fake run when they dumped it over the top for the touchdown in the first play. I felt like it was going to be a pass play. But I felt like everyone knew it was going to be a run with Cam Newton, because they were successful with it. And so you guys were prepared. I personally would have made that call. But I guess Bill Belichick is riding with this new quarterback. So it was a great defensive stop. I mean, you guys flipped him right on his neck, and it was like, that's ball game. So I would have tried to maybe hit the outside, or maybe like a play action or something, because everyone dove in on Cam Newton. Like, it was just like,
submarine.
Like, boom. And so if someone would have just leaked out to maybe the flat, they would have been wide open. But but sometimes you just got to ride with your guy, and so that's what Belichick did. So.
I think what's so funny, the theme that just ties between us and the Patriots, and you brought that bad memory up earlier, but the 1 yard line, how crazy that the last 3 times we played the Patriots, we only play them every 4 years, and then the Super Bowl has ended on the 1 yard line. We lost Super Bowl 49 at the 1 yard line. 2016, we beat New England in New England at the 1 yard line, and then they lost to us at the 1 yard line at our house. I mean, 3 different places, 3 different 1 yard line plays at the end of the game. Totally crazy. But what's so funny is that people have been so on the Seahawks for that call for throwing the ball at the 1 yard line. Even though we had success that year on more than one occasion throwing the slant play at the 1 yard line successfully. So there was evidence to prove why it wasn't the worst call, even though at the time I said it was the worst call ever. But I can see where the info backs it up. But then they try to throw it. New England throws it at the 1 yard line and loses. So then they're here, and they run the ball. But I think everyone in New England was probably thinking they should have thrown the ball at the 1 yard line. I just think it's funny, because no matter what, if it doesn't work, it's the worst call ever. And if it works, it's the best call ever. It doesn't matter what it was. If we ran the ball at Super Bowl 49 3 times and Marshawn Lynch got stuffed, they would have, why did they try throwing the ball at least one time? What's wrong with these people? It's just like over and over and over. Because that's what I'm hearing from the Cam Newton Patriots side. It's like, man, they loaded him up. It was obvious what they were going to do. Why did they do that? They should have misdirected and threw the ball. Anyway, it's just funny. That's just what I'm sure quarterbacks on Monday morning
are. Let me ask you a question. And you and the rest of the 12 are the perfect people to answer this for Dallas Cowboys fans. What is life like with Earl Thomas?
You know what? Outside of the time he went running to your freaking locker room asking to be, to come get me, I was fine with him. There really wasn't any issues. That was a funny thing. He was like the quiet guy who just sort of, because we had so many loudmouths on the team. We had Richard Sherman doing all the talking, and we had Michael Bennett doing his share of talking. So we had all these guys kind of distracting. So Earl Thomas seemed like a quiet dude who just was just doing his job. Loved every second of his play up until we got to that little part of the season where he did that little stunt and all that kind of business. So I really had all the stuff that's happened since he went to Baltimore, and now him getting kicked off Baltimore really is kind of shocking to me, because none of this kind of stuff happened when he was with Seattle. We never heard about any kind of. So I had nothing to complain about until he said, "Come get me," and he flipped off Coach Carroll. After that, it was like, well, all right, I guess you're done. But up to that point, I had no problem with him.
So if you are the Dallas Cowboys, you kind of know the position that we're in currently. Do you go get Earl Thomas right now?
Man, see, Earl Thomas is not the guy I thought we knew. And clearly with the Ravens, they did not. They thought he was going to be a different guy than they thought they were getting, because otherwise they wouldn't kick them off the team before the season started. So if I'm the Cowboys, I'm thinking, if I have a rational mind here with some sense of logic, something would be telling me there's probably something bad here. Do you really want to go out and chase this? The guy who says he wants to be here and everything, but some of these guys, just have a way of letting their own personalities overshadow their amazing performances on the field, right? And I feel like the Cowboys would they might be getting into a heap of trouble if they brought him in. Now, I might just be saying that because Earl Thomas might do really well with the Cowboys, and I don't want that to happen.
But we kept thinking he was going to be there for this game. Like, he'll be back before Seattle. He'll be a Cowboy for Seattle, but I guess he's still at the house. So a lot of Cowboys fans, and I see them in the chat, it's just Earl Thomas. But at this point, guys, I don't think it's going to happen.
Let me ask you, if you could wave a magic wand and just suddenly change the mind of your owner to hypnotize them, go get Earl Thomas, would you do it if you could wave a wand and make anything happen?
I would get Earl Thomas, and then I would trade him back to Seattle for Jamal Adams. That's my magic wand.
Dumbest move ever. That ain't gonna happen.
I have a magic wand. If I have a magic wand,
no, you're only allowed one move. You're only allowed one. You can't do 2-for-1 tricks, man. You get one move, then you're stuck with it.
I was one of the people who was willing to trade whatever the Jets asked for Jamal Adams, and you guys had the courage to do it. So, congratulations. Enjoy.
Well, and I see why you wanted to do it, because I'm loving every second of Jamal Adams on this, man. I didn't know what to expect, because I've not really seen him play that much, because we don't play the Jets, so we don't really watch that many Jets games. But man, watched the tape and I was like, oh wow, this guy could do some stuff. And then seeing him in the uniform, just everywhere. And really, there's that whole question of, are we going to use him? Because what's his name, the coach from the Jets, saying he's going to be bored in Seattle because they don't know how to use a safety. Well, what do they do right out the box? They put him in the box. They put him on the line of scrimmage. They blitzed him. They sent him rushing off the edge. They put him in coverage. I love this guy, man. I love me some Cam Chancellor, but this guy's coming up there as like a really strong second, guy second favorite in the strong safety department.
I'm a huge Jamal Adams fan, just not Sunday. After Sunday, I can go back with you.
All right, so give me the one thing, or finish this sentence. The Cowboys will lose if
we cannot stop the big plays.
I was going to say, if you said Russell Wilson, I say you're already lost.
Yeah.
Okay, the big, and what define the big play? What's the big play to you?
I would say that the huge down the field strikes, the 30, 40-yard plays, I think if we can limit those plays. But also, I think, not to say stop Russell Wilson, but we have to be able to contain him, because I believe where the Cowboys have struggled the most is getting off the field on third and also fourth down. And so those 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 3s, where we think we have everyone covered, DK Metcalf is covered, Lockett's covered, and then there goes Russ skirting out and getting that first down. Those are the plays that we have to limit and be able to get off the field in those critical moments. But also, like I said, those big strikes because if you watch the Falcons game, there was plays downfield that were wide open. We mentioned the Julio Jones. They even scored a touchdown to their tight end there was nobody around him. I could have made that catch and throw. And so we can't give Russ that opportunity, because I feel like if we get down 20-0 or even 14-0 to the Seahawks, coming back isn't as probable as it is against playing the Falcons. So the wrong chickens to try that.
In the super chat, Bug versus Windshield. Thank you for the super chat. It says, hope it's a great game. May the best team win. Seahawks. All right, I like that. For me, if I were to finish that sentence, if the Seahawks will lose this game against the Cowboys, and I think I already made it pretty clear, if we lose the turnover battle. To me, that's the one thing I see. Like I said, I think this game is going to be so equal in the sense of probably not exactly the defensive battle of the old days of low-scoring game. I think there's going to be a track meet. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring, a lot of throwing, and I think we've got the edge if we don't do that deadly mistake of throwing a pick, fumbling the ball, getting a sack and a fumble. To me, that's the game changer. That's the one that's going to shift the tide and throw the balance out of whack if we lose the turnover battle. So, to me, that's going to be the defining thing. So, all right. So we got to do our scores, and I want everybody in the chat. You guys put your score predictions, and we'll see who comes out right in this contest. But let's you guys put your score predictions in there, and I'll let my guests go first. What do you think is going to be the final score of this game against the Seahawks against the Cowboys?
So I said this last night, and I thought about it, and I'm going to kind of stick to my guns. Everyone's expecting a high-scoring shootout, so I'm going to kind of go the opposite direction. And so I got the Dallas Cowboys winning 24-21. Last field goal, Greg the leg.
Wow.
I feel like because we've spoken so bad about the defenses on both sides,
show
we're
up.
both going to step up. They're going to both show up. We're going to be like, what is going on?
Yeah, because you and I talked about it. This conversation made those guys motivated. Said, "Doggone, I'm going to prove
talking about us.
Talking Norb wrong. I'm going to show up and get some sacks and stops this week." We got a Cowboy fan in the chat. Dallas Cowboys for life. I assume this is your fault.
What's up, my guys?
One of your guys. We got invaders in the chat. Puts up the super chat. Thank you. Love the stream. Shout out to my man Jay Tuck. Dallas getting that W 30-24. Dallas. Okay. All right. So for me, whenever I put my prediction music video out, that's kind of what I stick to as sort of this is the score. I'm going to go with that. So I predicted 27-21, but I think that was before I saw what we had. See, normally when I do my music prediction video, I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen my music prediction video? You did, right?
I didn't see the one for Dallas yet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see this week's. Yeah.
Oh no, but I'm talking about my season prediction video where I did the entire season. You need to go check it out when you get a spare moment. So I do every game from game 1 to game 16, and I predict the score and I predict what's going to happen, and I do it all to music in a parody type of music video. Right. Anyway, so I said 27-21, but that was before I knew that Seattle was going to unroll this let Russ cook offense out. See, normally we'd have a preseason to see what's going on. I checked out the team. I go, I see what's going on. Okay, here's my prediction. This year it was like going in blindfolded, right? So I just had to kind of go off of what I thought maybe would be the case. So I said 27-21 Seattle by 6. But I want to amend that. I want to keep the same difference, but up at 10. So I say Seattle in a high-scoring game, 37-31, Seattle by 6 points. That's my prediction for Sunday.
Shootout City. I think it's definitely going to be a fun game. I hope Cowboys will come to play. Like I said, we definitely have the weapons on offense. You guys have the weapons on offense. So it really comes down to execution. Which with last week. So.
Yeah, but you didn't execute for a half, and then you executed the heck out of it the second half. Yeah. So I got to ask, have you been to a game in the Cowboys in the stadium, AT&T?
Yeah, I've been to numerous games, man. This is going to be the first time in 9 years I probably won't attend. Granted, I probably could, but I'm just not right now.
Because they do have fans in the stands. I saw fans in there.
Oh yeah, right? We're about 30,000 deep approximately in the stadium. So
we got Yeah, well, it's relatively. That's half the size, almost less than half of the size of ours. But for yours, it's like a third because your thing holds like 100,000 people, right? So yours is cavernously huge. But how do they I was curious because people were asking because before they decided there were going to be no fans in the stands, the Seahawks tickets department actually asked people, do you want to opt out of this year or do you want to stay on board and just wait and see what happens? I said I'm going to wait and see. I want to go if I can go. So far, no fans for the first 3 games. Probably going to go beyond that. But I thought, man, if they actually do let some people in, but only do select, I'll be kind of pissed. I'd rather have no fans and me not go than have half go and not be one of them. I'll be like really mad. I'll be like mad at the Seahawks, mad at my ticket person. Why'd you choose? How come I'm not? I should be going. Why you let that guy over there, not me? Right. So I'm curious. How did Dallas decide who of the 30,000 people are going to go and who are the 70,000 who got the shaft?
So I think what happened, season ticket holders got first dibs. And then, I mean, I got an email earlier today that single game tickets for, I think the next 4 games are at home, that they're available. So I think they're just putting out limited numbers, and it kind of comes to the first come, first serve. But I know a lot of season ticket holders, they resold their tickets and upped the ante a little bit and made a little profit. But I think they got first dibs, and then Cowboys are incrementally opening up single tickets for the game. So
wow.
If I wanted to buy a game for the Browns next Sunday, I probably could go online and get one if I wanted to. But
you don't because...
Nah, it's not worth the risk. Now, if we get to playoffs and we're actually making momentum, then yeah, I would probably make that move. But as of right now, I just don't see it happening. So, like I said, I've been to the stadium numerous times. It's a great stadium. Even if you're not a fan of the Cowboys, I say every football fan should just at least see that stadium. It's definitely something to experience. You can always tour it, tour the practice facility, all that fun stuff, just being a fan of the NFL. But the stadium is just breathtaking once you walk in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go see a game in there. I would love to see a game in every stadium. I've only been to a handful. I haven't even been to the new 49ers park yet, the Levi Stadium. I haven't been there yet, but I saw games at St. Louis. I've been to Carolina's field. I've been to Arizona. I've been to the Raiders back when they were in Oakland. Where else? I'm missing some place. Is that it? Anyway, I went to England. I went to see them in Wembley. Okay. Well, I saw them in Wembley to see to beat the Raiders. That was a fun time. So,
and I tell people, I mean, granted, I got kind of killed on Twitter for this when we spoke about them earlier. Though, if you really want a great football atmosphere, though, it's definitely Arrowhead. And I say this: going to Cowboy Stadium, it's luxury, it's nice, it's leather seats, it's just a different feeling. One of the best games I've ever seen in that stadium, AT&T Stadium, and I've seen numerous, was when we actually beat you guys in the playoffs, I think 2018. Like, that was the first game I've been to as a Cowboys fan where everyone was standing up, towels waving, like going mad crazy. Other games, I've gotten yelled at for standing up, different things like that. It's very luxurious when you go to Cowboy Stadium some games. But if you really want to capture that football atmosphere, rowdy, because I was at the AFC Championship game when Kansas City played the Titans, dressed in my Cowboys gear, of course.
You mean last year?
This past season.
Oh, yeah, wow.
January. So I went out there. I went out there with some friends of mine, dripped in silver and blue, of course. But it was just standing up, full game. Like, it was just insane. So I would definitely say Kansas City is a place.
So hold on a second. You're saying this claim, and you haven't even been to our stadium yet.
Well, I'm saying so far, I would actually want to plan to come to your guys' stadium and see what it's like. But so far, what I've been to, I would say, that's one of the best stadiums I've ever seen at football game.
It is definitely the second best venue in the National Football League.
You guys gonna have that. You guys gonna have it.
Tell you, man, that just ruffles my feathers. Seattle's got a great environment. If you ever do have a chance, or any of you guys have a chance to watch a game in Seattle, man, it's intense. For a stadium that only has 69,000 is the top. I mean, we're good we're like a good 30,000 plus less than you guys, but it gets really loud for an open stadium. For an open air stadium, it's off the charts, man, and it's pretty intense. It's actually been. And I've had this discussion with diehard fans, so the ones who really make the noise, that it's actually kind of died down in recent years. I think a lot of it is because just the price, man. The price for tickets is so high, and so the people who are just diehard rabid, foaming at the mouth, can't afford to go because you have these people who with a lot deeper pockets who are able to buy up these really expensive tickets, when the rest they spend the whole time just who's winning? Go Hawks!
My Instagram. Yeah. That's Cowboy Stadium. Because what we have at AT&T is what's called a standing room. So there's like $30 tickets just to get in there, but you stay in the entire game.
Oh yeah.
I've been in suites. I've been down the field. I've been all over that stadium for games. Being in the standing room, that's where the heart of the Cowboys fans are. I mean, that's where the rowdiness is. Fans are going crazy, and it's so much fun. I was like, I've paid thousands of dollars for a ticket before, and I had more fun with $30 tickets. Like you said, people want to be on Instagram and can you take a photo.
Right.
It's like,
well, that was
the game, please.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I've watched from the suites before too, and it's a great view. But it's weird. It's like, because you got this, you're in this room with a bunch of other people who are for the most part pretty quiet, and so you can't really be crazy and loud. You gotta watch TV. They're eating their food and all that kind of stuff. You got these windows in front, but you can't really be super loud. Otherwise, you look like a really obnoxious person in the room. Right. So I find myself wanting to get out of there, and I want to go back to my people. And being there where I can be loud and do all that stuff. And watching that NFC Championship game against the Packers from 2014 again last night reminded me, and you can see it on my video of my full length of the NFC Championship game. There's a point where in that game, I was sitting in a different section from where I normally sat with. I was sitting with my buddy Mark, who has really good seats, front of the 300 level, 45-yard line, really great. And so I was there, and I was doing what I always do. For me, on defense, I stand all the time. I'm making noise. I'm standing, period, on defense. Right. And I remember we're yelling, and this is the NFC Championship game. We got to go to the Super Bowl, right? So you got to help your team out. And I remember we're yelling, and then at one point this guy comes over, hey, sit down, we can't see. Exactly. And I was like, I'm looking at Mark going, Mark, what's wrong with your people here, man? What's wrong with these people? Right. This is the NFC freaking Championship. This isn't a golf game or something. I couldn't believe that. It just threw me off. I was so mad. And of course, we were sucking in that game because we were down 60-0. Russell Wilson was throwing 4 picks, interceptions, and it was a terrible thing. But just to add to that, I hadn't been told to sit down in a game since like the Kingdom. I couldn't believe it.
It shocked you. Like I said, I was at a Cowboys game. The usher came and tapped me on the shoulder. Like, this is the last time. I'm not going to tell you again. Not tell me again to what? To sit down. He's like, you have to sit down. People behind you cannot see. I was like, well, I got an idea. How about everybody just stand up?
Yeah, exactly. How about help your team, make some noise, and stand the frick up, people. So I got to ask you, so I've been talking about the NFC Championship game. Obviously, I consider one of the greatest games, I think I've ever been to and probably ever will go to. What's the best Cowboys game you've ever watched and why? Putting you on the spot here. I know we're going years back. Oh, and while you're thinking, I have to confess that before I was a Seahawks fan, I was for a brief second a Cowboys fan. Now, people may not know that, but because I didn't even know what football was, right? And my dad kind of would watch football, and I go, what's my dad yelling about over there? And so I kind of started watching, and it was that year that they went to, it was the Cowboys-Steelers in Super Bowl 13, 1970, I want to say 79 or 78. Anyway, it was, I believe it was, I want to say the quarterback was, I don't know if it was Staubach in 78. I want to say that it probably was. But the reason I became a fan of the Cowboys is because back then I was really into this sci-fi show called Battlestar Galactica, and they had a character named Starbuck on there. And I saw this quarterback named Starbuck. I was like, hey, that sounds like that cool guy I like to watch on my show. So I started rooting for the Cowboys, and I wanted them to beat the Steelers in that Super Bowl, and they ended up losing. Then afterwards, I found out, Seattle has a team. Oh, how cool is this? Okay, I guess I'll follow these guys. And I started playing Little League football, and it was all Seahawks after that. So for a brief moment in that Super Bowl, I was a Cowboys fan. So
you can get your Roger Staubach jersey. It's okay,
he was good. Anyway, so back to the question. Did you have time? I was buying you some time, man.
So I know I'm supposed to say one of the Super Bowls, but here's the thing about those.
Doesn't have to be. Mine is not a Super Bowl.
It was so long ago. Like I was like a kid. So like when the Cowboys were really rolling, winning the Super Bowl, I would have family over, cousins and friends. So we'll be out in the backyard playing football and stuff. And I wasn't really sit down, locked in on Cowboys football. So I would say one of my favorite games, honestly, was it 2018, the Saints Thursday night game. I think it was 2018. I think it was that same season. Where we played the Saints, 2018 or so, on a Thursday night game. I was actually in attendance, and that was the game where Jalen Smith delivered the big hit on Alvin Kamara, and we beat the Saints at home. Like I said, just being in the stadium, it was just going insane because at that time the Saints was rolling. Like their offense was just so explosive. I think we held them to like 17 points, give or take. That was one of my favorite games. Playing you guys in the playoffs, that was a fun game to watch.
That was a good game.
Yeah, that was a good game, man. Just to see, like, it was just big play after big play when Dak made that big run to get the first down and dive in the end zone. It's just like the crowd erupting. So that's one of my favorite games, man. But honestly, I would also tell you, I think Sunday, once things kind of settle down this past Sunday, that Falcons game is going to be up there because there's just so many mixed emotions. It's really going to be hard to explain. Now, the hard part about it really didn't mean much. It's only week 2. But I think once it's all said and done, that game is going to rank amongst top in the NFL because it's just something that we've never seen before.
Well, I think, and that's why I put the NFC Championship game against the Packers higher than Super Bowl 48. Not because, obviously, the Super Bowl 48, our first Super Bowl win, is most important because of what it represents. But in terms of the game and how it felt at the end, 48 was such a coaster ride. We were in charge for the beginning, and it was just like, it was kind of boring. We were dominating so much. Boring as boring can get in the Super Bowl, being the winner. But when in that NFC Championship game, being down and playing so terribly and looking like we were just out, and that's what you guys were. You guys looked like you have no business being in this game, and then to watch them come back. One play, oh, no, they got another one on us. So, but wait, we got this play and then this. And you guys, we had to get an onside kick to win that game. You guys had to get an onside kick to win the game. And I keep saying it, that the onside kick is one of the most exciting plays in the NFL. And damn it if they don't ever take that away, because this is why you don't get rid of the onside kick. It still happens. It still happens. They've been trying to phase it out, and I say don't. I love kickoffs. I love kickoffs. I love onside kicks, and this is why, because stuff like that happens, And
now, speaking of kickoffs, that could be something that could be detrimental to us on Sunday. Is Tony Pollard has this new idea when the ball is kicked deep in the end zone to continue to try to return it. And I hope he's been hearing our tweets, but just take the knee and
your return guy takes it out of the end zone.
It's this new mindset, no matter what. So there was plays we're getting starting at the 15, starting at the 10, starting at the 12. It's just like, just take the knee.
Yeah, right. So 25 yards. You're getting 25% of the field automatically without getting hurt or anything. No chance of a fumble. Well, has it ever paid off? Has he ever had a return greater than 25 yards in any of these first two games?
That's what I'm saying. Just take the knee, because we also know holding calls, different things like that. It can change the game, playing field position. So hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
Special teams is definitely an important part of it as well that a lot of people overlook.
Well, that's good to know. I'll make a note and send that off to Jason Myers. Kick it deep. He's going to try to return it.
He can return it. Yeah, exactly. Almost like, Lord have mercy.
I mean, that's why I love it when kickers actually, I don't know why more kickers don't do it. Why don't kickers kick it to the 1 and make them take it out? Because if you kick it out of the end zone, they're just getting the free 25-yard line. I don't think most people can return it to the 25. I think, like you said, you haven't had one yet, and I think that the percentage is probably less than 30% that they get past the 25-yard line. So why not? Why more kickers don't kick it to the 1? I don't understand.
Always a hold or a block in the back or
always
something.
Most of the time, and there's a chance of a fumble, something. But then there's also that one chance that guy makes one move and breaks it, and that's obviously what Pollard's hoping for. I'm going to get that big one. Sounds like a gambler in Vegas. Oh, this next one, I'm going to hit the big one. This next one.
Well, that's what he posted an Instagram photo. It was like, I believe in me. I was like, well, that's great, but we don't. So just take the knee, man. and watch Sunday. He's going to break a big one. I'm like, I told you to hurt Tony Pollard.
No. I'm going to be watching that carefully on all kickoffs now. Like, oh my God, knock on wood. This guy better not score a touchdown or I'm going to look like a real fool on this one. Oh, man. Well, that was great. We got our score predictions. We've talked about our strengths, our weaknesses, what kind of game we expect. I think no matter what, it's going to look like a good one. So I know, before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to add to the conversation? Any stone we haven't overturned yet here?
No, like I said, I think we pretty much covered everything. I appreciate you having me. Shouts out to the 12, man. I appreciate you guys. We're all just insane, passionate football fans. So I definitely enjoy having the conversation with you guys. Like I said, I think it'll be a good game on Sunday, and may the best team win. So we shall see. May
the best team win. Yes, I'm looking forward to a good game. And we even have besides the Cowboys bug me, but my brother-in-law is a big Cowboys fan, and so I have family feuding in here. My sister is a Seahawks fan. She's married to a Cowboys fan, so every time we get to play, there's extra little spice, a little extra sauce in the game because there's going to be bragging rights afterwards when things go your way or they don't go your way. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great one. So everybody, make sure you check out the Cabo Cowboy. Remind everybody where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, you guys can find me. I'll post it here in the chat, but on my YouTube channel, Cowboys Fans Only. Go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, and then also follow me on Twitter at jtuck151. And then also, if you Cowboys fans or Seahawks fans, I had some Patriots fans the other day buy some merchandise. So if you want to buy some Cowboys gear, go to cowboysfansonly.com. I appreciate the support. And you can also find me on the Fan to Fan Network. I'm an ambassador for the Dallas Cowboys, so I'll be posting my content there.
Well, yeah, we didn't talk about that. We got to talk about that.
Fan to Fan, like that. Like,
Joe's going to be pissed if we don't mention the Fan to Fan Network. So,
Fan to Fan. We didn't talk about that.
So yes, we got to talk about that. So, obviously, go to the description. I put your stuff in there, your YouTube channel and your Twitter as well that you mentioned.
Perfect.
But really the reason why we're collabing today is because we're both members of the Fan to Fan Network, FTFN, on YouTube. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I've been trying to get everybody to go check out what we do. But FTFN is basically a collection, a one location site of all these YouTubers of different teams, like myself, like Jay Tuck right here, of nearly every team in the league, and we all come together and we have sort of on camera discussions, and if it's your game, one-on-one, get a little trash talking like what we're doing right here. And
ours was smooth. Cool. There's some heated ones though. I've seen some past Sunday there was heat. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I've never been one to really do the whole trash talking thing. I mean, we'll just do it in kidding, but I just I have too much fun doing it. So I enjoy my camaraderie with my fellow FTFN people.
Right.
But go check it out too. Go check out J Tuck stuff. Go check out the FTFN. Season's just getting started, so more drama, more exciting games to come, and I'm sure Sunday will not disappoint. So good luck, man. We might have to do a post game review on this.
I'm down it. And Seahawks fans, I did not run. I did not hide. I was just a little delayed.
Not entirely. Yeah, I won't throw you under the bus. I had the wrong time. I did say in my tweet, I said 7 p.m. Eastern. I did EST, and you said sounds good. But you just assumed I meant Central Time. Well, anyway, here we are. We did it.
But we're here. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely link up again, do some post game stuff. Let me know, man. Like I said, I think it's going to be a good game Sunday, and I think a lot of people is going to be watching, especially America's Game of the Week is Fox.
Yep.
Expectations. So
yeah, well, it's gonna be it'll be good. It's gonna be some fireworks, I think. But yeah, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be great. So thank you for Fee and being on here. I appreciate you, Jay Tuck, my guest from the also known as the Cabo Cowboy. Go check out his channels, sub him up. Follow him on his Twitter as well. And I want to thank all of you guys, especially those who submitted super chats, and everybody who just came here to watch us talk about Cowboys, Seahawks, old and new, and even the Chiefs and their inflated world record for crowd noise. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here, you guys. And we will talk to y'all later. Have a great weekend. Go Hawks.